For over 2 centuries, an elite force has silently stood guard over America's shores and beyond, bravely defending the nation against all maritime threats. This distinguished force is none other than the Coast Guard, whose unwavering commitment to protect the American people is a testament to their unparalleled courage and dedication. Join us as we delve into the fascinating tactics employed by the U.S. Coast Guard to combat illicit boats on the high seas. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. When you think of the United States Coast Guard, you might imagine a group of dedicated men and women standing guard on the coast, watching the waves for any sign of danger. The Coast Guard's responsibility is not limited to one job, as they also intercept illegal boats in the sea. That's right, the Coast Guard is on the front lines of the fight against drug smugglers, human traffickers, and other criminals who try to use the sea to evade the law. For over 230 years, the Coast Guard has remained a steadfast defender of America's borders and a symbol of freedom and security for all. Their legacy is one of bravery, sacrifice, and an unshakable commitment to duty that has earned them the utmost respect and admiration of the American people. Their duties extend far beyond the shores, as they inspect merchant vessels for compliance with regulations, search for drug smugglers at sea, and execute a host of other critical responsibilities that keep the nation safe and secure. And they do it with a combination of cutting-edge technology, expert training, and nerves of steel. With a patchwork of functions, tasks, and responsibilities, the Coast Guard is a force to be reckoned with. Their more than 50,000 members serve as first responders, fearlessly risking their lives to rescue Americans and foreigners stranded at sea. They stand as guardians of America's coastlines, ever vigilant in their duty to secure the nation from all enemies, foreign and domestic. The first line of defense against illegal boats is the Coast Guard's intelligence gathering network. This network uses a variety of sources to identify suspicious activity on high seas, from satellite imagery to reports from other agencies. Once a potential threat is identified, the Coast Guard swings into action. One of the Coast Guard's most powerful weapons in the fight against illegal boats is the cutter. Cutters are 65 feet or greater in length and are specially designed for law enforcement and search and rescue missions. They are equipped with the latest technology, including radar, sonar, and cameras, that allow them to track and intercept illegal boats in even the most challenging conditions. But cutters are more than just floating technology platforms. They are also staffed by highly trained and permanently assigned crews who know how to navigate the choppy waters of law enforcement on the high seas. When a cutter is dispatched to intercept an illegal boat, the crew must act quickly and decisively. They must approach the boat stealthily, avoiding detection as much as possible. Once they are close enough, they will use a combination of warning shots, loudspeakers, and other non-lethal measures to persuade the boat to stop. If these measures are unsuccessful, the Coast Guard is authorized to use force to stop the boat, including firing on it if necessary. Intercepting an illegal boat is never easy, and the Coast Guard's crews face a number of challenges. One of the biggest is simply the size of the sea. With so much space to cover, it can be difficult to find and track illegal boats. In addition, many of these boats are designed to be fast and maneuverable, making them difficult to catch. And of course, there is always the risk of violence, as the people on these boats are often desperate and willing to do anything to avoid capture. But despite these challenges, the Coast Guard's crews are highly trained and highly motivated. They know that intercepting illegal boats is essential to protecting the safety and security of the United States, and they are willing to risk their lives to do it. In addition to intercepting illegal boats, the Coast Guard is also responsible for seizing any contraband that is found on board. This can include drugs, weapons, and other illegal goods. The Coast Guard works closely with other agencies, such as the Drug Enforcement Administration and the Department of Homeland Security, to ensure that these seizures have maximum impact on criminal organizations. The Coast Guard seizes an average of 1,253 pounds of cocaine and 172 pounds of marijuana each day. This is a critical component of the nation's fight against the drug trade, which poses a significant threat to public health and safety. The U.S. Coast Guard has a unique and vital role in keeping the nation's coasts and waterways safe from all manner of threats. From preventing the smuggling of illegal goods into U.S. ports to searching for and rescuing those in need of help in a marine environment, the Coast Guard is on the front lines of maritime security. One of the most important roles of the Coast Guard is preventing the smuggling of illegal goods or untaxed goods into U.S. ports. This includes making sure that shipping companies pay all the appropriate tariffs and taxes on goods they ship into the United States. On an average day, the Coast Guard facilitates the movement of $15.6 billion worth of goods and commodities through the nation's maritime transportation system. The Coast Guard is also responsible for preventing the illegal dumping of chemicals, illegal fishing or hunting of marine life, and enforcing marine environmental protection laws. These measures are essential for protecting the nation's coastal and marine ecosystems, which are critical to the health and well-being of both humans and wildlife. Perhaps the most well-known and most important role of the Coast Guard is that of search and rescue. The Coast Guard is responsible for searching for and rescuing anyone who needs help in a marine environment, including storm-racked boats and ships, refugees and immigrants trying to float to the United States, and anyone else involved in an accident at sea. On an average day, the Coast Guard conducts 42 search and rescue cases and saves 12 lives. In addition to these critical roles, the Coast Guard is also responsible for preventing illegal immigration. The Coast Guard interdicts an average of 18 illegal migrants each day. This is an important component of the nation's immigration policy and is essential for maintaining the security of the nation's borders. The Coast Guard is also responsible for watching out for terrorist attacks and other hostile forces trying to attack the United States by sea. The Coast Guard screens an average of 313 merchant vessels for potential security threats before arrival in U.S. ports each day. This is an important component of the nation's national security policy and is critical for preventing terrorist attacks on U.S. soil. Enforcing maritime laws, training civilians and commercial shipping crews in maritime safety, and ensuring the speed, safety, and reliability of transportation in United States coastal waters are additional roles of the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard has law enforcement powers within U.S. waters, which covers more than 95,000 miles of U.S. coastline and extends 200 miles from shore, and on international waters. Coast Guard authority supersedes that of the U.S. Navy in terms of law enforcement. A Coast Guard captain can halt, board, and even seize any vessel without a warrant, court order, or direct orders from a superior, including U.S. Navy vessels, although the latter is a very rare occurrence. To carry out these important functions, the Coast Guard employs a wide range of specialized next-generation equipment and personnel. They have a fleet of high-tech cutters, helicopters, and airplanes that are used for search and rescue, interdiction, and environmental monitoring. They also have a team of highly trained divers who conduct underwater inspections and repairs. The Coast Guard has a diverse workforce that includes both civilian and military personnel. Approximately 88% of the Coast Guard's 41,000 active duty members are enlisted personnel, while the remaining 12% are officers. They also have a civilian workforce of about 8,000 people who work in a variety of roles, including administrative support, engineering, and environmental protection. Despite their many responsibilities, the Coast Guard is often overlooked in discussions of national security and law enforcement. However, their unique position as the only military branch under the Department of Homeland Security highlights the vital role they play in keeping the United States safe. From intercepting drug smugglers and preventing illegal immigration to ensuring the safety of commercial vessels and protecting the environment, the Coast Guard plays an essential role in safeguarding America's interests at sea. In addition to its core responsibilities, the Coast Guard also engages in a range of other activities that help keep the nation's coasts and waterways safe. These include conducting search and rescue operations in the aftermath of natural disasters, supporting scientific research in the marine environment, and collaborating with other agencies and organizations to improve the safety and security of the nation's maritime transportation system. Hollywood has produced a plethora of riveting movies centered around the courageous work of the U.S. Coast Guard. One such cinematic masterpiece is the classic Baywatch, which is a must-see for all fans of the Coast Guard. Are there any other films that accurately portray the challenges faced by these brave men and women, as well as their intensive training? Let us know in the comments section below.